Meanwhile, the African Union says it is keen to address the migrants issue and is putting measures in place. CCTV's Girum Chala sat down with the African Union Director for Social Affairs to discuss the African Union strategy.
Where you do not create opportunities for regular migration, then you will have irregular migration. Where you cannot manage conflicts, there will be forced migration. Where there are religious or political persecution, there will be migration. So the challenge of managing migration is real. Yet, migration in the context of development has far benefits that outweigh the often perceived negatives about migration. So for us at the African Union, yes, we want to see we see migration in the context of development, and we also increasingly try to increase the capacity of our member states to be able to manage migration and, of course, the consequences of irregular migration.
Time and again, the African Union has called on its member states to pursue policies to keep their youth at home. Do you see those policies being implemented across the continent?
The definition of keeping them at home at continental level means keeping them in Africa, not just keeping them in Ethiopia or keeping them in Nigeria or Egypt or South Africa. Keeping them at home is keeping them in Africa. And how do we do that? Yes, we need to create jobs, but Africa's economy has been doing well. There is a tendency to say there's been growth without jobs. It's not so. There's been growth with jobs all over the place. Can the African economies do more? Of course, we need to create more to keep up with the youth, with our youth budget, so that we can have the benefits of migration. Of a demographic dividend. But having said that, when we were consulting for Agenda 2063, what the young people were telling us is this: you've got to remove barriers on the continent to allow mobility. So Africa Union's own contribution is, how do we enhance mobility on the continent?
Now, what is AU's prediction for the African migration in 2016 should countries fail to provide the right policies and other recommendations that you've made for the youth to remain in the continent?
Fortunately, we have the African Institute for Remittances based in Nairobi. We want to continue to make sure that the institute work to bring down the cost of remittance flow. This is part of managing migration for development. We realize that in 2014 we were able to account for it's about 64 billion in remittance flow to the continent, but measurement is still very poor. That's about a third that we could account for. We want to move many of them into the financial system.